So inshallah we're going to start. So we'll learn today Surah Quraysh. A very brief background of the surah so we can understand better. The surah was revealed in Makkah, and this is about the people of Makkah, the tribe of Quraysh, who were ruling Makkah at the time when Quran was revealed. And Makkah at that time was a center of trade, and the caravan of the business and trade used to go in the other cities and come back. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had created a situation where they were doing everything very, very peacefully. In winter, in summer, the caravan will go do the business, trade, and come back without any fear or without any worry. So this is a favor Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding to the people of Quraysh. And then in return, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is suggesting to them they should worship the Lord of this house, which is the Kaaba. Okay, so that is the command or a suggestion or advice from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also reminding them that it is not only the trade they benefited, but they also had plenty of food to eat. And also there was no fear for their caravans, because other countries' caravans, when they would travel, there were robbery and other things that would happen. But in the case of the Quraysh's caravan, they would go to Syria and Egypt and other places peacefully, nobody will touch them, and they will come back. So these are all the favors Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding them. Okay? So with that background, let's understand the word li'ilafi Qurayshin. Li'ilafi Qurayshin. Okay? So before we understand the word li'ilaf or ilaf, just a background using the words which we know. So I'm going to use as an example these three letters, Seen, Lam and Mim, Salama. Okay? The meaning of this is to have peace, or when you say greeting, to greet someone, say salam. So these are the root letters for that word. Okay? So these are three letters, and they belong to the group of the words we call fa'ala. And we make bigger words by adding more letters, and in one case if we add one letter alif, this becomes aslama. So the meaning of aslama is to submit or to surrender. So this is to submit or surrender, and this means to greet. So the word salam, greeting, is from these three letters. The word aslama, we just added one more letter. It means to submit or to surrender. Okay? Now, with these four letters, we are going to make a noun out of that. So one way of making a noun is, what we do, we take the first letter, alif, and put a kasra underneath. Now also notice that when I put little hamza and a kasra, this is Arabic style. In the non-Arabic, it is just a kasra. So this alif with a little hamza and kasra is same exactly as in you read the Indo-Pak Quran with alif and a kasra. So this is two different ways of writing. Then I take the second letter and put a sukoon on that. So the sound will be is. Okay? Then I take the third letter and put a fatha on it. Okay? And just add an alif here, like that. And then take the last letter and put two dhammas. Okay? So the word became Islamun. When you stop, you say Islam. Okay? So that is how from these four letters we made a noun which is Islam or Islamun, the meaning of this is submission. That is the meaning of Islam. Islam is to submit, to surrender yourself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So that is the Islamun. So that is how you have these 4 letters. You make a noun by putting the few Arab and adding an alif here. Okay? So the word became Islamun. Okay? Because we know these words. Okay? Now we are going to take the word there, alif, lam and fa. These are the 3 letters, okay, that we are going to start with. These are 3 letters, so they belong to the group of the words we call fa'ala. All 3 letters belong to the group of the word we call bab fa'ala, like these 3 letters. Okay? The meaning of these 3 letters is to love. To love. You know the word ulfat? Ulfat means love, is from these 3 same letters. Okay? So alafa means that one. If I use the same methodology that we did on these 3 letters here, I put an alif in the beginning and it becomes alif, alif, lam and fa. We just added 1 alif here, just like we added 1 alif here. So now these 4 letters belong to the group afala, and the meaning of these 4 letters is to become familiar. To become familiar. To know someone, to become familiar with someone. Okay? You can write this. Okay? To become familiar. Alif, alif, lam and fa. Okay? Now what I'm going to do, when we made from these 4 letters, this word, the same rule I'm going to apply here and put the same Arab here that we did on these 4 letters. So this will be alif with a, just like this one. The second letter here is, this case is alif, and I put a sukoon on that one. Third one is lam, we put a fatha on it. And 4th is fa, we put 2 dhammas. Okay? And we added alif here. Okay. It's like I added the alif here. The pronunciation of these 4 combined will be ilafun. Okay? Alif and alif, these 2 will pronounce E. So I can write down just like that. E. And la fun. This is the first word of this surah. Leave the lam. Lam has a different meaning. Take out the first lam from there. So rest of the word is ila fun. Here, there's some changes will take place. But this is the noun. The meaning of this word is familiarity. In Urdu, it is manus. To become secure about something, to become familiar about something. So that is the word manus. Okay? Manusiyat or waqfiyat or familiarity. Okay? So that is the meaning of the word ilafun. Okay? This word has come twice in this surah, both in the ayat number 1 and ayat number 2. Okay? So once we understand this word, it will be easy to understand both of these ayats of the surah. So original word is ilafun. Ilafun means to be familiar with something, to know something, or to get used to of something, familiarity about something. Okay? So that's the meaning of ilafun. It is also written as, which is just a different way of writing, ilafun. This alif is written as a short alif, and everything is combined together. So this is just a different way of writing. In the Quran, you will see both of these ways of different words. Big alif can be written as a small alif here. Meaning is same, word is same. Ilafin, ilafun is the word. Okay. Now, the second word is Quraishun. Quraishun is the name of the tribe. The people who lived in Makkah, they were called Quraish. Okay, so this is their name of the tribe. Okay, so we have one noun here which is ilafun, and we have another noun here is Quraishun. Okay, two different words. Now I'm going to combine these two by putting an off in between. Okay, so the meaning will be familiarity of Quraish. Familiarity of Quraish means Quraish became familiar about something. Quraish became, people of the Makkah became familiar. What did they become familiar? Easily taking their tribes, their caravans in the winter and summer and coming back. Easy, no problem. So they became easy, familiar with this mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ilafun and Quraishun. So now in English we put an off, and Arabic what we do, we change this dhamma, two dhammas into one. So it becomes ilafu, and so this was Quraishun. Okay, this so became Quraishi. That's the rule when we combine two nouns. On the first noun, to bring the meaning of, we change two dhammas into one. On the second word, we change two dhammas to kasras. Okay? So now the word became, two words combined became ilafu Quraishin. It became ilafu now and Quraishin. Okay? Now I'm going to put the letter lam with a kasra, which means for. Okay? And lam with a kasra, meaning for, is a harf-e-jar. Harf-e-jar does only one change. It takes this dhamma and makes into a kasra. Okay. So now the word became exactly as they are in the first ayat. Li-ilafi Quraishin, for the familiarity of the Quraish. Quraish became familiar. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is starting this surah for the familiarity or manusiyat of Quraish. They became manus, they became used to of all this easiness. Okay? So that is the meaning of this. For familiarity of Quraish. People of Quraish became familiar, easy, manus. Okay? Okay, now we go to the next ayat. The next ayat starts with the same word, ilafun. Okay, same word, ilafun. And this time it's combining with hum. Hum means they. Okay. So again, when you combine these, it will be ilafuhum. When you combine a noun and this is a pronoun and this is a noun, so these two dhammas will change into one dhamma. Okay. Sorry. So it becomes ilafuhum. ilafuhum. So this time the meaning will be their familiarity. Because naam and name Quraysh has been replaced. To whom? They. The noun Quraysh has been replaced by pronoun whom. So the word is ilafuhum, their familiarity. Okay? Their familiarity. So familiarity of Quraysh, and you are saying their familiarity. So we are repeating the same thing, except in one you are calling them by name. Second time you are calling them they or their. Okay? Now this lam, alif, lam with a kasra in the beginning, this li is also going to apply on this word. So even though it is not written, but it is applying here on this one. Okay. So this is a harf jar. This will change this ilafu again to ilafi, just like it did here. Okay. So now the meaning, the word will be li'ilafihim. That's the word in the Quran. Li is not recited. Ilafihim, but the li is being applied here also. Ilafihim, for their familiarity. First time for the familiarity of the Quraysh, second time for their familiarity. Just changing Quraysh by whom. Also when you recite in the tajweed, this dhamma is recited as kasra for easy pronunciation. So it's pronounced as him, not whom. Ilafihim. Okay. Even though originally the word is whom, but for tajweed easiness, speaking for this pronunciation, we just pronounce this as also a kasra. Separately, him is not a word in Arabic, it's whom only. But in the pronunciation, sound changes only. So for their familiarity, the meaning is for their familiarity. Okay, so with those two explanation of the word ilaf, the next word starts with these three letters ra, ha, and lam. This means to travel. Rahala means to travel. Okay. One word which most of us might know is rahlat. Rahlat is the word which is used when someone dies. Okay. Rahlat. Dying is like it starting the traveling of a different journey. So rahala means to travel. Okay? And if we combine and make a noun, it is called rahlatun. Rehlatun. Rehlatun means journey. Traveling. Rehlatun means traveling, journey, going from one place to another place. Okay? Okay. Now, next two words are sheen, ta, and waw. And noun from this is shita'un. Shita'un means winter. This is a word in Arabic, shita'un. Root letters are sheen, ta, and waw. And shita'un means winter, season of winter. Okay? And likewise, these three letters, swad, ya, and fa, saifun, means summer. These are the two words they use for weather, for this winter and summer in Arabic. So shitaun, winter, saifun, summer. Okay. Now, if we put al before these, al and al. So this will be the winter and this will be the summer. Two weathers. Okay. When we put al before a noun, what happens? Two dhammas change into one dhamma. Okay. Just al does only one thing. It looks at the last letter. Noun always has two dhammas at the end. Shitaun and saifun. With the sound of noon. Shitaun is the sound of noon. Saifun is the sound of noon. When you put al, it changes the sound of noon to a sound of one dhamma only. So it becomes shita'u and it becomes saifu. Okay. Also, sheen and swad both are shamsi letters and they kill the sound of lam and make them pronounced twice with the shadda. So this will be pronounced as ash shita'u and this will be pronounced as saifu. Okay, that is what the lam does of this al. It has its sound gets killed by sheen and swad. So, ashita'u and as-saifu. So the new words now became ashita'u, that we written like that. Ashita'u, okay, and as-saifu. So one means the winter, the other means the summer. Okay. Also, one of the rule of recitation is that whenever you have a hamza and there is an alif before hamza, that alif is pronounced with a mad. So that's the reason we have a mad on alif. So the pronunciation will be ashita'u. Okay. This will remain as saifu. There is nothing to stretch this word. But that word has to be pronounced with a mad on alif because of this hamza. If this hamza was not there, then it will not be pronounced long. Okay. So the word now is ashita'u, means the winter, and as-saifu, the summer. Okay. And we also have this word rehlatun. Rehlatun means journey. Journey, and this is the winter, and this is the summer. Okay. Now, our standard rule, I am going to put a off here. So these two words will become journey of the winter, which means someone is traveling in winter. Journey at the time of or season of winter. So this will become journey of the winter, and when you combine these two, rule is that this will become one dhamma and this will become kasra. and then you have to pronounce them together. So you do not pronounce this alif. And when you don't pronounce this alif, you take the harakat on alif and change with a small swad, which means don't pronounce it. Hamzatul wasl. So the word now becomes Rihlatush Shita'i. The combination now became Rihlatush. You have to combine this sheen. Rihlatush Shita'i. Meaning will be journey of the winter. Okay. Journey at the time of the winter. Okay. Now one more change will take place is that this rehla, the word rehla, is a maf'ul or subject of this ilafihim. So this also has an effect, and that gets changed to a fatah. We will study that later on in more detail. But always in Arabic, when something coming as a maf'ul or object, not subject, object, it becomes a fatah. So the word became Rihlata Shita'i, meaning does not change, it's just the harakat changed. So Rihlata Shita'i, those are the words in the Quran. The journey of the winter. Okay. Then you have waw in between. Waw means and. Okay. And then the next word was as-sayfu. So this rahlatun is also applying to this one. Journey of the winter and journey of the summer. You're not going to rewrite rahlatun, but the meaning is that what you are saying, rihlata shita'i, journey of the winter, and the rihlatun is also going to apply here, rihlatu sayfi, journey of the summer. But writing one is enough for both. Okay? So by the same combination of this and this will become a sayfi. Just like it became a shita'i, this becomes a sayfi. Those are the words in the Quran. So the meaning is that for the familiarity, for the manusiyat, for the taming of Quraysh, of their journey at the time of this winter and at the time of this summer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made easy for them that they can pack up their caravan. Doesn't matter if it is cold, winter or summer, they can start traveling. The weather is good going to one side or the other side. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that this is a blessing, this is a favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He made the situation in the Hijaz such that the people of Makkah are secure and safe, and their businesses are flourishing, and they are taking their caravan, going to other cities and towns for the business, and now they became familiar with that. They don't even think that this is a mercy or blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They became used to. They became familiar with this blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding them that what Quraysh have now is so much easiness in their businesses and their trades. So that's what the meaning is so far. Journey of winter, and of the winter and the summer. Okay. So after stating this blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's saying, now you should be thankful. And you should worship me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they should worship Allah now. Okay? So that is the next ayat. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. So let's look at those words. word starts with these three letters, Ain, Ba and Da. Abada. Abada means to worship. Abada means to worship. Okay. Also, we have seen a few times that if we put a ya in the beginning and wuna at the end, okay, ya with a fatha and wuna, ya brings the meaning of third person and present tense. So this is third person and present tense. And wuna may brings the meaning of plural. Okay. So the word becomes ya'buduna. Okay, and we saw this word in Surah Al-Kafirun, many times it came. Ya'buduna means they worship. They, third person is they, plural, and present tense is worship. So the word is ya'buduna. Ya'buduna means they worship. Ya'buduna, they worship. Yaf'aluna, they do. Ya'buduna, they worship. Okay? Una brings the plural and ya brings the meaning of third person and present tense. Okay? Ya'buduna. Now we are going to learn something new, very fundamental, but that comes in the Quran a lot. Is that this letter lam, when we put a kasra under that, we knew the meaning for this one was for. Okay? We just learned lillah, for. Okay? When this word comes with a noun, this is a harf jar. So if this comes with the word, so this is a harf jar. And when this comes with the word, for example, Allah, Allahu is the word. What this harf jar does, it changes this dhamma to a kasra. So that is the quality or the characteristic of a harf jar. Okay, we saw that in the case of li'ilaf. Okay, harf jar. So there is this kind of lam when it has a kasra and it changes on a noun dhamma to a kasra, is called harf jar. Okay. There is another lam that has a fatha on it. Okay. This is also harf jar. Okay. But when it comes on a pronoun, this was noun here. This word Allahu was noun. Okay? Pronoun, let's see, this is a pronoun. There are many pronouns. Kum means you. Kum means you all. Okay? When it comes with kum, it doesn't come as a kasra, it comes as a fatha. So the word you know in the Quran, lakum, lahum, lahu, all those words have fatha on the lam. They are still, lam is still harf jar, it has a fatha, but it does not make any change in the pronoun. Kum remains kum. Lakum. This lam changed, but this lam does not change, it comes with the pronoun. So this is lakum. Lakum. Harf jar.
Is it for?
It is for. This means for you. meaning is for you. But this lam applies with the pronoun, and it has no effect on the pronoun. This lam applies on the noun, Allahu, but it changes Allahu to Allahi. That's called harf jar, two kinds. Now, there is another kind of lam. Okay? And I'll come on this, the harkat later, but this lam we need for learning something here. So lam is called lame take. Lame take. Take means so that, and we'll learn that one. So that. Okay. Lame take. Take means so. There is another lam which is called lame taqeed. Lame taqeed emphasizes on something, but we'll learn that when lame taqeed comes. What is lame taqeed? If I give you something, let's say if I give you $5, I'm going to say something. I gave you $5 so that you can buy something. I use the word so that. I gave you $5 so that you can buy something or you should buy something. So what I'm saying here, I'm making a conditional statement. I'm giving you something, but I'm advising you to do something. And I'm using the English word so that for that. I am giving you $5 so that you should spend this thing. So I'm giving you something and I'm suggesting, advising you to do something with that money. So in English, we use the word so that, which is lame take. So in Arabic, whenever we want to make this kind of a statement, I give you something, you should do something with that. So that you should do something with that. Okay? That is the condition that this lam brings that. Just keep in that mind. Okay, now we are going to.
It's going to be like lam sharfiya.
It's lam sharfiya has another character, but this is especially called lam take. Take is actually Arabic, Urdu and Farsi words. And those who speak Urdu, they use take a lot in their language. Okay? This is just like, as I said, if I give you something, I'm advising you to do something with that. So take is used for that. So in Arabic, lam is used for that.
So then taqeed means what?
Okay, taqeed means emphasizing something.
Oh.
Which means something must be done. Then this taqeed means emphasis. They are different. No, they are different. Taqeed is, I'm telling you, you must do something. Okay? Indeed, certainly, surely, positively. Laqad is a taqeed. Must. Okay? Laqad anzalnahu. We definitely revealed this thing to you. Okay? So that is emphasizing. That is taqeed. This one. But take is used so that you should do something. Okay, and we'll see it here. Beautifully it comes here. Okay? So what happens, I'm going to rephrase this word in English. I'm going to write down so that you should worship. So instead of you, I'm going to use they. Okay? So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying? I gave you so much comfort in your journeys so that you can worship your Lord. So I'm using it, so ayat is using so that you should worship now. Be thankful to Allah And so the Quraysh have so much easiness in their life. So in return, what they should do? So that they should worship. Okay? So now, the first letter, Fa. Fa literally means so. Fa. Second letter, so this means so. Okay? And then I'm going to put a lam here, which is a lam in tawqeed. A lam in taqe, this one. Okay? And then from this word, I'm going to take out the letter noon here. So this will become ya'budu. Ya'budu. Okay? Now I'm going to combine these two by putting the sukoon here. Fal ya'budu. That's how you bring the statement of a should in Arabic. When you are saying they worship, is a statement. If you want to say they should worship, okay, so you are advising them, you are suggesting them that they should worship. Okay, so that's how in Arabic grammar is made. You remove the noon and you put a lam taqe before that. So the word is same as in the Quran. Fal ya'budu. So they should worship. The Quraysh should worship. Okay? So that's how, and many places in the Quran, where Quran is talking about doing something, suggesting to do something, then fa and lam are used, and noon is removed from the word. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا. Okay? فَلْيَعْفُوا. They should forgive. And then there are places in the Quran. Okay? There are many places you will see fal there before the word. So fa and lam combination brings the meaning of so that and brings the meaning of advising, suggesting that they should do this thing. Okay? So the word is فَلْيَعْبُدُوا, and we just write one alif which is not pronounced for writing purpose at the end. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا, so that taqe, they should worship. So in English we bring the word should. In Arabic we bring the word lam, the letter lam with the fa. Okay? So that's how should translation comes into the picture. So فَلْيَعْبُدُوا, they should worship. Okay? lam taqid laqad Rasulullah.
ताकीद की
No, laqad. La, indeed, definitely. Taqe or taqid.
एक ही
Taqid and taqid are same thing.
हाँ ये
In Urdu they call taqid, in Arabic it is taqid. Taqe is separate thing. Okay? So now the words that we know, we have been seeing. Rabbun. Rabbun means Lord. Okay. Rabbun means Lord. Okay. And Baitun means house. Baitun means house. Bait is house. Baitun means house. Okay. When you put al means the house, and al changes this to the mazin to one. So word is now al by two. Al by two. Al by two means the house. And Rabbun means Lord. Okay? Now I'm going to put an off here. So the English becomes Lord of the house. Lord of the house. Okay? So when we put of, this becomes one dhamma and this becomes kasra. Same rule always. So what is the pronunciation now? Rabbul Baiti, Lord of the house. Rabbul Baiti. Okay, those are the words now. Rabbul Baiti. So again, this alif is not pronounced here when you combine of al baitu. So this becomes hamzatul wasl for the little sword. So the word is Rabbul Baiti, Lord of the house. Rabbul Baiti, Lord of the house. Okay. Now, the word before that is Falyabudu. That is a verb. So when a noun comes after the verb, noun is Rabbu, so this becomes a fatah. Whenever a noun comes after the verb, its dhamma changes it to fatah. So now it became Falyabudu. They should worship Rabbal Baiti, Lord of the house. Okay? Then you put a haza in between. Haza means this. Okay. So now the word becomes Falyabudu. So they should worship Rabba Hadal Baiti, Lord of this house. Because now brought this in the picture. What is this? Kaaba. Because Quraysh are living there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pointing to Hada, this house. Until Hada was not there, it was the house. It could be any house. But because the surah is being revealed in Makkah, Quraysh are living there, they are being addressed here. So Hada is pointing to Masjidul Haram, the Kaaba. So they should worship the Lord of this house. To be thankful whatever Allah has done to them. So what they should do in return, now they should worship to the Lord of this house. They have been worshipping the idols there. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them that you have been worshipping the idols. Lord of this house, which is Kaaba. So let's look at these few words, they are easy. Alladhi means he. And he is pointing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding them another favor. Okay. Okay. Ta and mim means to eat. Okay. And if I put an alif, it becomes 4-letter word, just like af'ala. This means to feed. Difference is that you are eating and someone is feeding you. At'ama. Okay? And if I put one fatha on each of them, like this, it means he fed. He gave you to eat. He fed. At'ama means he fed. Whom means them. At'amahum, he fed them. He is Allah and them are Quraysh. Allah gave them plenty to eat. Okay? He fed them. Okay? Then Jim, Wow, and N. Ju'un means hunger. Ju'un means hunger. Okay? Min is a harfijar from or in. Here will be in. And harfijar changes these to two kasras, two dhammas to two kasra. Min ju'in. He fed them in hunger. Allah gave them plenty to eat. So another favor He's reminding. They should worship because Allah gave them, fed them in their hunger. Okay? In hunger. Okay. Next word is wow. Wow means and. Okay. Now the next word alif mim noon. Amana. Amana means to have peace. To have peace. Aman is known word. Aman means peace. Amana means to have some peace. And these are three letters, so they belong to group of the words we call fa'ala. And if I add one letter alif in the beginning, it will become af'ala. This will become alif mim noon. The meaning of these four letters is to give peace. So the fine difference, to have peace and someone is giving you peace. So two people are involved in the second word here. Amana. Two alifs will be sounded like amana. One alif is sound like amana. But the sound of two alifs will be a-mana. In Arabic, two alifs like together are written as this way. One hamza and one alif. Okay? So this will become amana. Amana. Amana means he gave peace. And hum means them. Quraysh. And that's the word in the Quran. Amanahum. He gave them peace. Okay? He fed them when they were hungry, and he gave them peace. He provided or gave them peace. And the last word is easy. Kha, wow, fa, khawfun, fear. Khawfun means fear. Okay. And min is from or in, before we translate the thing. And khawfun will become khawfin. That's the word in the Quran. Min khawfin, when you start, this is min khawf. Okay. He gave them peace from the fear that their journey, their traveling, their caravans will not be disturbed. They can peacefully travel. In the city of Makkah, it's a peaceful city because it's the city of Hajj. So, people don't come and attack. Except that in the next surah, something special happened in Surah Fil. Okay, but even then, Allah took care of that. Okay, so in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding all the favors to Quraysh, what He has done to them, and in return, they should do فَلْيَعْبُدُوا. They should worship the Lord of this house. Okay, so min khawf means from fear. Min khawfin is the word, but when you stop, you say min khawf. From the fear, He gave them peace. He provided them peace, so they don't have to be fearful of anything else.